Hello, this is John from caveofprogramming.com. Before we go any further, it strikes me that I should say a little bit about uploading binary data in general. So in this section we're particularly looking at uploading photos, but this kind of applies to any sort of binary file upload. You can store binary files in your database, and databases like MySQL have got a lot better at handling binary files than they used to be. But most people will probably say that you shouldn't really do that. Apart from anything else, uploading photos to your database, for example, is just going to make your database absolutely massive. And you do already have a kind of a database that's specialized for storing binary files, and that's the actual file system of wherever you're hosting your application. So to me it makes a lot more sense to use a file system to hold uploads, and then you only need to store metadata in your database. So you might store the name of a photo in your database, you might store the type of it and the subdirectory it's located in, let's say, but you don't actually store the photo in there, and that's what I'm going to do in this tutorial. If you use a service like, for example, OpenShift, then usually these services will give you some way of creating a directory which you can upload stuff to. So you don't want to try to upload stuff to your actual applications directory. If you deploy a war to Tomcat, then usually Tomcat's going to unzip that war and you're going to have a directory structure there. But you don't want to upload data directly to that. You want some other directory somewhere that's particularly intended to hold your uploaded data. And usually online services will give you some way of accessing such a directory. And of course, if you set everything up yourself, if you just like rent a web package that has command line access, you can kind of sort that all out yourself and decide where you want to store uploaded files. One thing you've got to be aware of is that your web server, usually Tomcat, certainly Tomcat in this case, is going to run as a particular user, and that user is going to have permission to write files to the directory where you're storing your uploads. So you might have to get into looking into how you deal with file permissions in your operating system, or the operating system where you're deploying your application, if you don't know that stuff already. The web user is the user that your application is running as, has to have permission to write to the relevant directories where you're storing your files. Okay, so that's it for this video. Until next time, happy coding.